Once again, family, assalamu alaikum. I want to get straight to the business.
Yes, sir.
I want to introduce to you not just the layperson. They have their scholars. They have those who've done their research.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Wesley Muhammad sits on the Executive Council, the governing body of the Nation of Islam under the direction and guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and is a member of Minister Farrakhan's research team. Dr. Muhammad holds a bachelor's degree in religious studies from Morehouse College, Atlanta, Georgia, a master's degree and doctorate degree in Islamic studies from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. He has taught at the University of Michigan, Michigan State University, the University of Toledo, and most recently, the San Francisco State University, where he taught a thought-provoking course on Malcolm X, in the context of nationalism. Dr. Muhammad is published in several peer-reviewed scholarly journals and has also written for the Final Call newspaper, the Nation of Islam's flagship periodical. Dr. Muhammad is the author of several books, including Understanding the Assault on the Black Man, Volumes 1 and 2, The Book of God, an encyclopedia of proof that the black man is God. He has appeared on Revolt Television's hip-hop platform, The Breakfast Club, which hosts Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee, and DJ Envy, as well as on Vlad TV with DJ Vlad. In 2015, Dr. Muhammad presented with Rock Nation artist Jay Electronica at Oxford University. Most recently, Dr. Muhammad is prominently featured in filmmaker Tariq Nasheed's new Hidden Colors documentary, Buck-Breaking 2021. Brothers, sisters, let's hear our side of the story from one of our best. Please receive to this podium Student Minister Dr. Wesley Muhammad.
In the most holy name of Allah, who came in a person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom our holy praises are forever. So, Michael?
Yes, sir. Move a little bit closer. Talk loud.
Can you hear me?
Now
Yes,
we
sir.
can, you know.
Speak a little closer.
I bear witness there is no God but Allah. And I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his living and exalted Christ. I further bear witness that the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan is the voice of God in our midst today, the criterion by which that which will lead to life, that which will lead to death. In this day, he is the source of divine guidance, that if we would give heed, we would get through the dark hour that is upon us. Their names I greet you, family. We say it in Arabic, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, sir.
I am humbled to be here in Holly Springs, Mississippi, with my brother, student minister Shaheed, my brother, student minister James, my brother, the Mid-South representative of the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan, student minister Thakir Muhammad. Thank you for hosting your brother in these two states.
Please, me too about it. So happy you're here.
Dear brother Patrick Lamont, I'm glad I came out. I didn't come out to trigger your hate. I came out to hear my brother, and I'm so glad that I did. Your words,
To Allah.
I think, perfectly set the stage for what we want to do. In Mississippi this evening, a divisive issue. Indeed, this is.
It's true.
Family, I and we have not come to Holly Springs to be divisive.
Right.
We have not come to stimulate any wounds, but this issue of the murder of Malcolm X has been and remains a 57-year open wound.
It's true. Right. It's true. Great point. It's true.
The assassination of Malcolm X on February 21st, 1965, at the Audubon Ballroom in New York, was a moment of maximum trauma for black people in America.
Right.
The tragic event created a wound in black America's body politic that has not healed in 57 years. During this time, salt has been poured in this open wound
That's true.
by the same people who created
They sure
the
is.
wound
That's right.
by assassinating Malcolm X. Within 2 hours of the assassination, the New York Police Department falsely claimed that the Nation of Islam was guilty of Malcolm's murder. This claim has never been proven, and at the time the NYPD made it, they knew that it was false. Nevertheless, this claim that the Nation of Islam killed Malcolm X, which originated as NYPD propaganda, has become a pillar of the Malcolm X popular and scholarly narrative. I do not take lightly the significance of the conversation that we're having today.
Yes, sir.
I pray to Allah that He intervenes with me, that I may handle such a weighty subject and conversation responsibly,
Yes, sir.
for it is easy to exacerbate division,
Yes, sir.
Brother Patrick Lamont, with this subject, if not handled properly.
Yes, sir.
I submit to us, dear family, you kind of put the Nation of Islam in a difficult situation,
Yes, sir.
such that at this point there is no way, or let me restate, the only way this conversation can be had and it not be triggering is to excuse the Nation of Islam from the conversation, or not excuse, exclude
Come on.
the Nation of Islam from the conversation, which is what is done.
That's what happened.
Yes,
It's
sir.
true. It's true.
So Malcolm X symposiums and Malcolm X conferences and Malcolm X discussions, they all go great and everybody's happy y'all lock us out
That's true.
of the conversation. And so you have never had the benefit.
Peace.
It is not because the one who knows best of all of those talking on Malcolm X, none knows the reality of what happened like the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan.
That's right. Peace.
None of those writing on Malcolm knows Malcolm like Farrakhan, and he has not been stingy with the history.
Right.
The Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan, since at least 1972, there's a long videography of the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan speaking and giving clear context of what went down from our perspective. But the narrative that we take to be the truth does not consider the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan's testimony over decades.
That's true.
There's a reason we are not invited to the conversation.
That's right. Peace.
And there's a reason when we bogart our way in, that's why we're here today.
Yes, sir.
Right,
We
right,
weren't invited,
Peace.
we elbowed our way in.
right.
Peace, brother.
Sometimes.
Not to be divisive,
Right.
but in truth, if I can say it like this, we just not gonna be the punching bag no more.
That's right.
That's right. Because
Not gonna be the punching bag no more. What do I mean by that? The popular Malcolm X narrative that does Malcolm no favors.
that's right.
It does him no justice.
That's right.
It shows no proper love and respect for Malcolm X, the popular Malcolm X narrative, which I call, for reasons I will, inshallah, show, a false narrative. But critical to that false narrative is this charge against, this saddling the Nation of Islam, it's scandalizing the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his teacher. And the narrative, when it's recited, it has to include the scandalizing of the messenger. It has to include the false accusation or implication that Farrakhan killed Malcolm.
Right.
True.
Peace.
The false narrative needs all of that
That's right.
to make some of you happy.
Yes, sir.
And so, we're the punching bag of the narrative. And we're not invited to the conversation because we will punch back.
That's right.
Because we will punch back. No, we did not come to Holly Springs to punch anybody.
Right.
We come to Holly Springs to lay the facts bare.
That's right.
Now, you, Brother Wesley, why you here? You don't look old enough. You weren't there. I was not. Neither was that condo.
Right. Right.
Neither was Abdul Rahman.
That's
I'm-
right. That's right. That's right.
Neither was Manning Marable.
Okay. That's right.
Neither was Les Payne.
That's right. That's right. Moved into the same standard.
Why should we listen to you when you present what you're going to present. Wesley Muhammad? Well, first and foremost, because I'm a student of the man that you should have been listening to from day one. The only one
Got the testimony.
you should have been listening to is the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan.
Facts.
But the truth of the matter is, fam, our brother Malcolm X was resurrected. His legacy was resurrected. If you check the history, Malcolm was not in the media
He was.
in 1987.
He was. That's true.
Malcolm was not a media darling. There was not academic conferences on Malcolm X in 1985.
No
That's
curiosity.
right. Peace.
None.
It's 1991, 92.
That's right. That's right.
Malcolm was resurrected. All of the scholarship that has engineered the narrative, it came up beginning 1991, 1992.
True. True.
When the Farrakhan factor was a phenomenon in this country.
That's right.
His legacy was resurrected not because white America has found a love for Malcolm, but because they wanted to and want to weaponize the legacy of Malcolm X against the living Louis Farrakhan.
Yes.
That's
True.
right.
That's right.
This is true.
That's right.
And so, this is why it's imperative for them to not let Farrakhan's first-hand account, not third-hand, first-hand account,
That's a great point.
inform the narrative.
Yes, sir.
Spike Lee interviewed the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan, but the movie didn't reflect that.
That's right.
True.
Manny Marable interviewed the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan, but his book don't accurately reflect that.
Right.
So this country's love for Malcolm is fake.
It is. That's true.
Undergirding it is a genuine hate for Farrakhan.
Yes, that is true.
This is true.
That is true.
This is true. So we come. None of our people who love Malcolm do we consider enemies.
That's right.
No, sir. Peace.
The enemy, Brother Patrick, is the source of the divisiveness.
That's right.
Peace.
That's right.
The Nation of Islam, if we respond to the malicious lies and false charges against us, don't call us divisive.
That's right.
Don't call us troublemakers.
That's right.
You're a victim of the trouble.
Right. That's right. Exactly right.
We are but trying to set the record straight, but Brother Wesley, you still ain't tell me why I should listen to you. We the difference between our investigation and that of those who have gone before is ours is a forensic investigation. That is not the case with Manny Marable. Though I do not say there is no value in his book. Malcolm X, The Life of Reinvention. That is not the case with Les and Tamara Payne's recent biography of Malcolm X. Though I have benefited from that work, it is not the case with Zach Condo's Unraveling the Conspiracy. It is not the case with Carl Levin's The Judas Factor. That these were forensic investigations. Why do you say that, Brother Wesley? What are you presenting as a forensic investigation? Well, such that your investigation is separate from theirs. There are $5,000 documents in the Malcolm X assassination case file of the New York Municipal Archive. 5,000 documents. Documents originating from the initial police and City of New York investigation of the assassination, the murder, as well as documents related to the 1966 trial, Talmadge Hare, Norman 3X Butler, Thomas 15X Johnson, as well as files related to the 1978 appeal by Attorney William Kunstler. Of those 5,000 documents in the Malcolm X assassination case file, just 6 of those 5,000 documents are the 6 volumes of the trial transcript of the 1966 trial, which is upwards of 5,000 pages itself. There are currently 9,000 released FBI, CIA, and NYPD documents relating to Malcolm X. None of those previous scholarly works that I cited give any evidence of appropriately utilizing that body of evidence. None of them. By Allah's grace, we have availed ourselves to all 5,000
Praise be
sir.
to
of the
Allah.
documents
Yes,
To
sir.
Allah.
in the Malcolm X
That-
assassination case file. We have availed ourselves to the 6 volumes of the trial transcript of 1966. We have availed ourselves to the 9,000 CIA, FBI, and NYPD Malcolm X documents. But most importantly, we have availed ourselves to the first-hand context-setting testimony of the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan. That's what I mean by a forensic investigation, and to show you us. The game changer in this discussion, that a proper forensic investigation can produce, we were blessed to find the Rosetta Stone of the assassination of Malcolm X.
Yes, sir.
All these years, it was assumed that there's no smoking gun.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
But it's because a proper forensic investigation was not conducted. This document, I know you can't read it, it's okay. We're going to return to it. I just want you to see it right now.
Yes, sir.
This, you know what the Rosetta Stone is? This is the document. It was buried for decades in the 5,000 files
Wow.
of the New York Municipal Archive. This document that originated with the Assistant DA Stearns, who was the initial investigator for the city of New York of the murder. Buried in his office notes is this note right here, and this note unravels
Yes, sir.
just as the Rosetta Stone unraveled the hieroglyphic language of ancient Egypt. And so now we can read the writings on the wall, on the temples of ancient Egypt because of the Rosetta Stone. I am announcing that we found the Rosetta Stone of the assassination of Malcolm X, and we can have with this piece of a document,
Yes, sir.
we can understand what happened February 21st, 1965, but we're going to return to this. But this was buried
Yes, sir.
in the file, and if we would have done
Teach.
a forensic investigation, then the whole conversation, the narrative would be different.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
The conversation would be different. So the popular narrative, the scholarly narrative, the false narrative has been given new life with the Netflix docuseries Who Killed Malcolm X. Many thought we've reached a moment of revelation with the Netflix docuseries.
Yes, sir.
It is true that I received calls from fellow Muslims,
Yes, sir.
excited having watched the Netflix docuseries. They were excited that the devil is revealing the truth now.
Stop. Stop.
Yes, sir.
It's not their fault for thinking that. The Netflix docuseries did reveal something. If that's the case, Brother Wesley, why dismiss it as, or why put it in the same basket as a false narrative? So I want to talk about, we've brought together or produced 1,000, our investigation is 1,000 pages. I'm not going to hold you here to indulge me as I go through 1,000 pages of research. So I'm going to hone in on something that I hope illustrates the bigger point. And I'm going to use Netflix as an illustration of the bigger point. So I want to talk about the Netflix docuseries, Who Killed Malcolm X. We got so excited about it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. I want to disabuse us. I want to rob us of that excitement.
Yes, sir.
Not because I'm hating, but because I understand biological what I'm looking at. I want to help us understand what you're looking at.
That's right.
Because what we're looking at is something very specific. The Netflix docuseries, Who Killed Malcolm X, is a U.S. intelligence operation. Say that again.
Yes, sir. Teach.
I don't want you to not get
Project.
what I'm claiming. I'm going to go after the claim. That 6-part series, Who Killed Malcolm X, is an intelligence operation.
It's true. Makes sense. Makes sense.
It's a specific intelligence operation called a limited hangout.
Interesting.
What is a limited hangout?
Well, no.
Limited hangout is intelligence jargon for a form of propaganda in which a selected portion of a scandal, criminal act, sensitive or classified information, etc., is revealed or leaked without telling the whole story.
Nasty.
Limited hangout, restricted hangout, give something
Teach.
in order to hide something else. The intention may be the intention of the limited hangout intelligence operation may be to establish credibility while in fact covering up by omitting details to distance oneself publicly from something using innocuous or vague criticism. So you hear a lot of criticism in the docuseries of the FBI. That FBI agents engaging in self-criticism.
Yes, sir.
To distance oneself publicly from something using innocuous or vague criticism, even when one's own sympathies are privately with that, and to divert public attention away from a more heinous act
Wow.
by leaking information about something less heinous.
Interesting.
This is a common tactic used by government intelligence agencies caught in a scandal.
Yes, sir. Take it down.
Both the CIA and the FBI use this propaganda covert op called limited hangout when a covert operation of the past is on the verge of having the top blown off, being exposed. The FBI and the CIA resort to a limited hangout. They will dangle out a piece of the truth,
Teach.
a less scandalous,
Right.
the less revealing
Right.
piece of the truth, get the public distracted by that and content with that,
Right.
thereby averting public disclosure of the bigger crime in which they are involved.
And take it, girl. Take it.
Strategy. That's right.
I am absolutely suggesting to us that Netflix's Who Killed Malcolm X 6-episode docuseries is a bona fide limited hangout.
That's it, yes. So,
I want us to take note of the promo. The Who Killed Malcolm X Netflix promo. You see the most honorable Elijah Muhammad behind Malcolm, hovering in shadow like Malcolm.
right.
See, our enemy is the master of subtlety.
That's right.
Yes.
Take it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
What evidence, what proof do you have, Brother Wesley, of what you charge? That docuseries was populated by U.S. intelligence officers. But not just U.S. intelligence officers. Tony Bowser of the Bureau of Special Service and Investigation of the New York Police Department. Bossy, the intelligence unit of the New York Police Department. Gary Fulcher, Bossy agent. Arthur Fulton, FBI agent. And John Fox, FBI historian. We meet all of these and we hear from all of these over the course, prominently over the course of the 6 episodes, but the key detail here is not just that the intelligence apparatus linked themselves to this documentary
Right.
on Malcolm X.
Right.
Even the FBI
Right.
historian. But that's not the big thing. The big thing is every one of these are not just intelligence assets. They were each part of the intelligence operation that targeted Malcolm X.
Wow.
Arthur Fulton of the FBI. He sent 9 FBI informants to the Audubon. The FBI informants that were part of the hit at the Audubon was his informant.
Wow. Wow.
And he graces us with an appearance in Netflix. Who Killed Malcolm X? Tony Bowser was a field commander in the operation that targeted Malcolm X's Muslim Mosque Incorporated and later Organization of Afro-American Unity. Tony Bowser was one of the commanders. Jerry Fulcher. He was the one tasked, his first assignment for Bossy was to install and monitor the technical surveillance that the NYPD put on or in Malcolm X's Hotel Teresa office.
Wow.
It was Jerry Fulcher who spent all day listening to the wiretap, the surveillance tape, and every night he delivered them
Take
to the municipal office. The people involved in the operation that targeted Malcolm X that resulted in his death are the very ones that Netflix was able to secure
Isn't that amazing?
to tell us about the assassination of Malcolm X.
Come on, man. God.
So we have Tony Bowser saying, yeah, we botched the investigation. NYPD, we couldn't do that, yeah, we botched it. See, that's that self-criticism
Yes, sir.
to
Fake.
distract,
Right.
to mislead.
Right. Exactly.
You didn't botch the investigation, Tony Bowser.
Right.
You committed the crime and covered it up.
That's it. Right. Right.
Yes, sir. Because
There is no argument that this six-part series is an intelligence operation.
Makes sense.
It's a limited hangout. So now that we know that, and we do,
yes, sir.
so now everything that we learn, or we thought we learned, we got to look at it a little different.
That's right.
We got to reconsider. So I want to help us do that. This particular documentary gave new life to the false narrative.
It's true.
It dwindled a bit since Spike Lee's movie X in 92, 93, whenever that was. There have been scholarly books written, but the brother and sister on the street don't do that. They're highfalutin scholarship too much. So while it was produced and it's problematic, it didn't have as much of an effect. And Farrakhan is still here. They tried to kill him. They expected him to be dead in 1999
That's right.
or shortly thereafter.
Right.
Sir. Take
Tell the truth.
Had they been successful, we probably wouldn't have heard much about Malcolm X. Mission accomplished.
Right.
sir.
Not on any official level, but the Quran says, and the Jews plan,
Yes, sir.
but Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planner, and Allah planned for Farrakhan to escape the assassin government hit.
That's right.
Praise belongs to Allah.
Yes, sir.
So, he's still here, and he's an ever increasing problem for the enemy. He did not diminish as a problem. That's why they still talking about Farrakhan in 2022 as if it was 1985.
Right.
And the other side of that is the rappers are still name dropping Farrakhan in 2022 as if it was 1989.
That's right. That's right. They paying attention.
He's transgenerational
Yes.
in his power and influence on black youth,
Yes.
which makes him the paramount enemy
Right.
to this world.
That's true.
So, Spike Lee's influence waned. Manny Marable, there was a lot of, his book dropped with a splash. There was a lot of talk and controversy, but the community rejects Manny Marable. Work, and it should. He wanted to convince us that Malcolm X was a homosexual. That's a damn good lie.
That's right.
There was no evidence. There was never any reason
Right.
For Bruce Perry to make that claim, there was never, I looked at the evidence that they offered. That claim should have never been made. There was never a legitimate basis to make such a ridiculous claim. Not that. Whatever Malcolm Little engaged in, whatever Detroit Red was about, when he met Muhammad, he was transformed. So he was, number whatever he may have done is a monkey on his back once he met Muhammad, so long as we don't return to our own family.
Right, that's right. That's right. That's right. Doesn't matter.
So the issue for me is not that I'm offended at the suggestion that Detroit Red engaged in, whatever Detroit Red may have engaged in, but I'm mad because the evidence never gave warrant to that claim, which should force you to ask, why are they querying Malcolm X?
It's true. Right. Absolutely.
It is part of what I'm going to discuss, inshallah, tomorrow, this world's end of men agenda. And because Malcolm X was eulogized as our shining black prince, our black manhood. So if you want to queer, if you want to feminize, if you want to unman young black men, young black soldiers like Patrick Lumumba,
That's right.
strong soldiers,
Right.
then queer the nationalist icon of black masculinity.
That's right. Everywhere.
But Patrick Lumumba and sound, solid brothers like him and me and us rejected Manny Marley.
That's exactly right.
So it wasn't effective.
That's right.
Right. That's right.
Out comes Netflix. Who killed Malcolm X? 6 very entertaining episodes. Got a black face, beautiful black face of our dear brother, Abdul Rahman Muhammad. And the aim was to concretize the false narrative and think that there's some new revelations which confirm the old lie. Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam killed Malcolm X. That's why they got the messenger mischievously peering over the shoulder of Malcolm X on the promo. The promo itself is a covert
That's true.
operation.
Subtle.
Okay, all right, so, Brother Wesson, it's a limited hangout, clearly. You made your case with that. But where did it go wrong? Where's the lie in it? I thought it revealed great truth. Where's the lie in it?
Left them. That's what they call it. See. This is a group.
As we get of the 6 episodes, the first 3 really set the stage for what the producers really want to hone in on. They focus on William 25X Bragg. Reportedly, the assassin that wielded the shotgun. episodes 4, 5, and 6, I believe, certainly 5 and 6, was preoccupied with William Bragg. It is not that I think the attention is misplaced. The shotgun shooter was the pillar of what I call and will discuss Kill Team 2. The shooter team. The shooter team that came up out of Newark and Patterson, New Jersey. Brothers who had some historic affiliation, though not current
Right,
affiliation,
right.
with Temple number 25 in Newark, Temple number 76 in Patterson, New Jersey. Shotgun shooter, reportedly William Bragg, had been a lieutenant in Temple number 25, Newark. That shotgun blast, no doubt, was the kill shot. And so the bullets that were expelled from Talmadge Head's 45 and Leon 3X Davis's Luger, the bullets that followed the second shotgun blast, it was a double-barrel shotgun. And the shooter emptied both barrels.
Wow, my God.
And then, before Malcolm fell, Spike Lee depicted Malcolm falling over the first blast and the pistol shooters following up and shooting into Malcolm's prone body. But very reliable earlier eyewitness account depicts Malcolm being blasted with the first shotgun round. He didn't fall with that shot with the second. Unloaded the second barrel. And then the two pistol shooters, while Malcolm was still erect, unloaded their pistols in him. Then Malcolm fell back, and then, no doubt, that shotgun blast expertly hitting Malcolm, creating a circle in his chest, a perfect kill shot.
Wow.
So when they unloaded their pistols, it wasn't for any other reason but that.
Drama.
This was an overkill operation.
Yes, sir. Drama. Yes, sir.
It was government theatrics. It was sending a message. And so before the assassins fled after unloading their bullets into our brother's body, one of them, either from Kill Team 2, the shooter team, or Kill Team 1, the Judas team, those with Malcolm who betrayed him and set him up, in their wickedness. It's the only reason Kill Team 2 was able to do what they did. They could not have got in the Audubon with their weapons except Kill Team 1, the Judas team, did their job.
That's
We will
exactly
get to
right.
that.
That's
But when Malcolm was there,
right.
and he is suffering from the excessive amount of gun wounds, somebody, either from Kill Team 2, the shooter team, or Kill Team 1, the Judas team, somebody dropped a card on his prone body.
Wow.
And this card said, "You have fallen into a set trap."
Wow.
Forget it.
Wow.
Malcolm was publicly executed
Yes.
by a network that wanted to send a message to Black America.
Yes, sir.
So it was overkill operation. Those extra bullets were for effect, for messaging. So I am not in disagreement that significant focus should have been on the shotgun shooter. I'm in total agreement with that. The problem is, this was a limited hangout.
Yes, sir.
And so the only thing Netflix wanted to establish was that William Bradley was William 25X Bradley, and he comes up out of the Newark mosque or Newark temple,
Yes, sir.
where them black Muslim goons reside.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's the popular narrative
Yes,
of
it
the
is.
nation. But Newark and Philly,
That's right.
that's the muscle mosque, and
That's right.
there's a problem with that representation. That in and of itself is the limited hangout, which my saying that should hint to you that there's something about William Bradley that they left out. Are you going to give it to us, Brother Wesley? By Allah's grace.
Yes, sir.
But before we get there, this docuseries is guilty by virtue of omission, what it left out, and it is guilty by virtue of commission. It lies
Tell the truth, bro.
on a number of levels, but there's a very glaring illustration of the misrepresentation of this docuseries, and by quoting it, we repeat error, not mistake, error. And we only continue to add falsehood upon falsehood in the Malcolm X narrative. We're not getting closer to the truth of Malcolm X. We are getting further from it. Okay, bro, you're saying a lot of words. Get to the point. Most of us who are students or quasi-students of Malcolm X, we recognize that image.
Yes.
But for those who don't, let me introduce. What we see is New York police officers rescuing Talmadge Head, rescuing Talmadge Head, the shooter of the 45. As he runs out, he's shot in the leg. Some of Malcolm's genuine supporters grab him. They're beating him.
Yep.
The police,
Yes.
who are on site, not by happenstance, as the popular narrative
That's right.
presents, but by plot.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
That's it.
They swoop in
Where?
and grab him. So what we see is the police rescuing him, but some of Malcolm's men are still trying
Get him.
to get him.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Of course, Thomas Harris, the one in the middle. Now, this is very important because it's the source of significant mischief. And not only does it demonstrate the faith that we cannot put in or what I'm about to show, not this, but what I'm about to show. This is the basis, this image, how it is used in the docuseries is not only an illustration of why no faith can be put in the docuseries, but it's also the reason Carl Evans is disqualified. Abdul Rahman Muhammad is disqualified.
Yes, sir.
It is because, you see, the myth of the black Zapruder figure. A claim is made for this image by Abdul Rahman Muhammad and Carl Evans, and first presented while it was the false claim was made by Abdul Rahman in 2010. Most of us first encountered it in the Netflix series. The false claim is did that brother with the black trench coat and the white paper
Where?
in his pocket,
William Bradley?
that's the shotgun shooter, William Bragg. This is prominently stated in the docuseries. The video, the live action is played, and Carl Evans christened this the Black Zapruder figure.
Interesting.
Now, look at what the claim is, and it's ridiculous on the surface, but I don't want to prejudice you, though I guess I already did, but listen to it. This is supposed to be the shotgun shooter, William Bradley. He just shot Malcolm. He just committed an assassination. What Abdul Rahman and Carl Evans claim do you see that?
Yes, sir.
This is the Audubon Ball.
Yes, sir.
Is that image clear on there?
Yes, sir.
At the top is 166th Street, where the main entrance into the Audubon and up into the ballroom is. That's where this scene takes place, outside the front of the Audubon. the 166th Street side. The bottom is where you see where it says the stage. That's the kill zone. That's where Malcolm X was executed.
Right, right.
To the right of the stage, the kill zone, is an exit that leads out of the ballroom on to 165th Street. The shotgun shooter emerging from the second or third row from the stage shoots Malcolm. The eyewitnesses say he ran up, right, and into the ladies' lavatory where there is stairs leading to an exit. Right under St. Nicholas Act. That's where witnesses say the shotgun shooter made his escape. Abdul Rahman Muhammad and Carl Evans would have us believe that after assassinating Malcolm X and making a clean getaway, instead of getting away, he turns around and goes up to 166th Street to help Thomas Hare get out of the clutches, with police all around, out of the clutches of Malcolm's people.
Come on, come on.
Is that not an insult to our intelligence?
Yes, yes it is.
To even suggest
Right.
such ridiculousness?
Man, that's ridiculous.
But we can debunk that claim not just by the force of logic, because that claim is totally illogical,
That's true. That's true.
but we have absolute proof that their claim is a gross error. See, the shotgun shooter was the one that witnessed had the clearest description of, that turned out to be accurate. And there's two descriptions in particular that's consistent with the witness. The shotgun shooter was very dark-skinned, and the shotgun shooter had a full beard. So if we had, hypothetically, photographic, videographic evidence of the shotgun shooter at the scene of the crime, we would see a dark-skinned man with a very full beard.
Makes sense.
And he would have on a gray coat. Now, this isn't him. I should have reversed the slides, but we'll roll with it.
Yes, sir.
So I said there was two consistent descriptions. I got to add the third.
Yes, sir.
And in this case, Spike Lee got it right because Spike Lee was closer to the documentation, the testimony, than Netflix, because we have good firsthand witnesses along with his dark skin and thick beard. The shotgun shooter had on a gray coat, a gray or bluish gray trench coat, not a jet black trench coat.
Great point. Wow.
So, but not only in this Abdurrahman Karlevich narrative, not only did the gray coat disappear, but the beard has disappeared. This is the man, this is a close-up of the man who's supposed to be William Bragg. This man is clearly clean-faced. There is no full beard in this man tuggling with the police to get at Talmadge's hair. This is a clean-shaven, dark-skinned man.
Right, right.
But they have deliberately misidentified this man. And they got this so wrong.
Yes, sir.
That hints to you the quality of everything else in that limited hangout. This is not the bearded shotgun shooter. And Netflix and Abdurrahman and Carl Evans are wrong. But their narrative hangs. This is part of the new revelation
Yes, sir.
that they claim to bring. And so you see, their new revelations are concocted.
That's right.
That's
all
right.
about.
That's right.
And while I highlight this example, I could cite numerous examples of concocted revelation by the, what I call the five horsemen of the Malcolm X false narrative. But I'm not finished. Netflix focused on William Bradley. Okay. Let's focus some more on William Bradley.
Yes, sir.
See, this is a crime of commission,
Yes, sir.
total misrepresentation. And then we didn't need CIA, NSA level high-tech counter-espionage equipment to see this.
Yes, sir.
So they knew
He,
that this man was not the bearded shotgun shooter.
yes, sir.
But they knew that in the excitement of hearing Tony Bowser criticize the investigation and the excitement, oh my goodness, the FBI agent who had these informants, he's talking.
Yes, sir.
In the excitement of the limited hangout, which is the purpose of the limited hangout, we can fall easy. We won't even critically examine what's put before us. They are wrong.
Tell the truth.
And I'm suggesting not by mistake, but by error. A mistake is an unintentional departure from right. An error is very intentional,
Yes, sir.
very aware departure from right. So let's talk about William Bradley because, all right, yeah, that all sounds, all right. We'll give you that, Brother Wesley. I mean, but bruh, ain't it still the case? Wasn't he a lieutenant? Are you saying that he wasn't a Muslim from Temple number 25? No, I'm not saying that. He was a lieutenant, wasn't he? At one time. And he shot Malcolm with a shotgun.
Yes.
Right? Apparently so. So I don't get your point, Brother West. Then what then is the point? How is what you showing of the era of Netflix, how does that exonerate the Nation of Islam from the murder of Malcolm X? Being that the charge against the Nation of Islam hangs on William Bradley. Certainly, that's how Netflix presented it. The Nation of Islam is guilty. Elijah Muhammad is guilty because William Bradley. So, I want to talk about William Bradley like Netflix talk about William Bradley.
Come on, Doc. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
William Bradley is very important. What you're looking at is I forget, no, I didn't bring it, 15 or 18 page FBI document on William 25X Bragg. And so we need to know about him in order to judge what it is and in order to judge who it is he represents
Yes, sir.
in this murder. William Bradley, we get great details in this FBI document, forensic investigation. Avail yourself to the primary source. William Bradley, you know why? I'm sorry, I keep adding to the list. First I said two things consistent. Witnesses report about Bradley. Then I said three things. Indulge me, there's four things. The other thing they know about the shotgun shooter was he clearly was an expert shooter. Shotgun is a very difficult weapon to shoot, especially when it's sawed off. In terms of hitting a target at the distance that they say the shotgun shooter was, and the witnesses say the shotgun shooter, he was an expert because he got into a stance and he laid the gun in the crook of his arm and he shot it with professional accuracy. All of the witnesses who were familiar with weaponry marveled at the expertise of the shotgun shooter, but now we know where he gets his expertise from.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
William Bradley was a weapons expert, a machine gunner for the United States Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
Come on, come on.
He went from there to become a Green Beret.
Wow. That's a good shot.
Now, what's most important about that, U.S. Special Forces, the Green Beret, were the mercenaries for the CIA.
Wow.
The CIA is an intelligence body, not a military.
Right.
The CIA does not have soldiers.
Yeah.
So since the early 60s, the CIA and the Green Berets had an arrangement. U.S. Army Special Forces or Green Berets, when the CIA wanted to execute a murder, an assassination, their mercenaries were Green Berets. William Bradley was a Green Beret.
Wow.
William Bradley was honorably discharged, but I suggest that his honorable discharge was part of his sheep dipping. Sheep dipping is a U.S. intelligence operation.
Yes, sir.
Sheep dipping is when the CIA wants somebody who's in the military. The CIA wants to use them to engage in a domestic covert operation as a civilian. So in order to convert that soldier into a civilian for the purpose of a specific covert operation, the CIA sheep dips them. The language comes from the process that farmers engage in, a bath of chemicals. They dip a sheep in, a literal sheep, in order to rid the sheep of pests and all of that. And when the sheep comes out of that bath, it's sheep dip.
Yes, sir.
As an intelligence operation, a military man is sheep dipped by creating a false discharge.
Right.
He's not actually discharged. His file is transferred to another office, his actual file. He's still an active military member. His file is transferred into a hidden location that only those who are aware of his CIA operation has access to. A cover story for why he was discharged is created, and he's presented as a civilian. Now,
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
usually,
Excellent. Excellent.
for example, Lee Harvey Oswald, who in this case was not the shooter of JFK, he was the designated patsy, like Talmadge Hare was. But you may be a little confused. You just said Lee Harvey Oswald didn't shoot at the president. Talmadge Hare did shoot at the president, yeah. Sirhan, who shot at Robert Kennedy.
Yes, sir.
The three of them are in a similar class of sacrificial patsy. Some shot, some didn't. But the relevant thing with Lee Harvey Oswald that connects him to William Bradley, Lee Harvey Oswald was not the foolish commie that the media depicts him as. Lee Harvey Oswald was a highly valued U.S. intelligence asset. He received, at the time of his death, he was receiving payment from the CIA, the FBI, the Secret Service, Customs. When Lee Harvey Oswald, he is the perfect illustration of the sheep dipping process. Very important. Lee Harvey Oswald, who was in the Marines, like William Bradley, the CIA began the sheep dipping of Lee Harvey Oswald. They discharged him, fakely discharged him from the military, and then the next thing we hear, Lee Harvey Oswald has defected to Russia.
Right.
But now we know that that was a fake defection.
Right, right.
The Office of Naval Intelligence sent Lee Harvey Oswald to Russia under a fake defective program. This was part of the sheep dipping, making Lee Harvey Oswald a communist, because he was selected to be the commie patsy in the assassination of the president, which they hoped would trigger a war with Russia and with Cuba.
Wow.
JFK's assassination was a false flag operation. They made it look like communists killed Kennedy, like the assassination of Malcolm X was a false flag operation. They made it look like the Nation of Islam killed.
The water.
Thank you. I must be sounding thirsty.
No, I just want to make sure you know.
Thank you.
Take care of my brother.
Thank you, sir.
Work.
Yes, sir.
My brother up here. Well, give him a round of applause. I'm gonna do work.
I won't allow Willie to be much longer.
Take your time. It's evidence.
Because the plan to kill Kennedy required a communist. They sheep dipped their highly valued intelligence asset, Lee Harvey Oswald, as a communist. They faked a military discharge. They fakely sent him to Russia as a defector. Then when he came back in, what we didn't know then, but we know now, he came back in the federal government gave him and his Russian wife money to set up.
They did. That's right.
And then they have him in New Orleans passing out commie leaflets. This is the sheep dipping. A military asset is moved into civilian life attached to a cause that the government wants to use in a covert act. In this case, the cause was communism.
Right. Yes, sir.
So Lee Harvey Oswald was sheep dipped as a communist. Do you follow?
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
William Bradley, a Marine Corps weapons specialist. William Bradley, who? A Green Beret. William Bradley, who the Marine Corps evaluated him and determined him to be an upstanding character. And when he was initially discharged in '52, it was recommended that he re-enlist. That's how upstanding a U.S. Marine William Bradley was. But then he's officially discharged in '53, and the next thing we hear about this upstanding Marine, he's committing robberies in the city of Newark. See, the civilian, he's building a civilian legend. This is what's called in intelligence jargon. Your personal, your civilian cover story is your legend.
Wow.
So he's going around New York, this upstanding
Come on, man.
Marine is now robbing folks in petty robberies. He's getting arrested, he's building a record. Then he joins the temple in Newark. And from day one, as this 15, 18 page FBI document reveals, from the day he entered the mosque, it was reported to the FBI.
Wow.
Every single of the over 100, every individual Nation of Islam event he attended, they recorded it.
Okay.
They are
They may.
following their man's
That's right.
activity in this civilian,
Man.
the sheep dip civilian covert operation. He becomes a lieutenant in the mosque. This is true.
Yes, sir.
But he wasn't that on February 21st,
Right.
1965. Now,
Had this. That's not.
there's certain aspects of this false narrative that really depends